Well, this is the last movie in the Shrek series that I've yet to talk about, so let's round out this playlist with the original Puss in Boots, which came out back in 2011. And this is a long-awaited spin-off for a lot of people, and they had been wanting it since Shrek 2 came out. Antonio Banderas, once again, is voicing the iconic side character Puss in Boots. And my history with this movie is pretty interesting, actually, because this came out back in 2011, right? That's right around the point where my grandma was still taking me and my little brother to the kids' movies, and I would still like them. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still very grateful that my grandma took me out to the movies all those times that she did. But I'll be honest, that was around the point, and I was getting to that age where I was like, okay, I want to try and explore some more adult movies in theaters. And I couldn't quite buy my own tickets to any rated R movies as of yet. And believe it or not, I haven't seen this original Puss in Boots since that day in 2011. So it was really refreshing to look back on this with some fresh eyes now. Well, let's see. So we come across Puss in this movie, and he's just been named a hero for saving a woman from a charging bull. But he's run out of town on suspicion of a bank robbery because of his perception as an outlaw. But the real criminal in this case is Puss's best friend, Humpty Dumpty, who's voiced here by Zack Galifianakis. And those two have a very fractured relationship, but Humpty's got a plan here. So he enlists Puss to help him out here. They reunite to steal a goose that lays golden eggs, and they have to climb this gigantic beanstalk to get there. And joining them on this adventure is Kitty Softpaws, voiced by Salma Hayek, also a notorious cat outlaw just like Puss is. Okay, so I popped this disc in, right? And I'm not really expecting much. I'm expecting something towards the middle of the pack in terms of Dreamworks quality. But if the sequel, The Last Wish, is anything to go off of, like, I was expecting nothing out of that movie. And those of you who are with me for that review, you know that I ended up loving it. It was one of my favorite movies to come out of 2022. And clearly I've learned nothing since then, because the first two acts of Puss in Boots go by, and I'm just so into this thing. And I can comfortably say that this movie right here, way better than I ever remembered it. And it's not just because it's Dreamworks and the animation is going to be what it is. It's very colorful, it's very vibrant, it's very fun to look at. And yes, as a kid's movie, it can be very cute. If you're a cat person, you will love this movie. Because yes, you do see Puss in Boots in his upbringing. You get to see him as a kitten, and it's all very adorable. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a cat person, and I gushed at it too. But I was really surprised at how much I was laughing at it. Because yeah, again, it really captures the spirit of what makes Shrek what it is. It's funny. And this movie's got a lot of creative things to it. The side villains are an adult Jack and Jill who are bums now. They're voiced by Billy Bob Thornton and Amy Sedaris, and they're really funny. But I think what makes this original Puss in Boots movie stand out, in addition to its sequel, which I still think, honestly, I'll explain why, but I think The Last Wish is superior still to this. But I think what makes this one stand out is the adventure aspect. Because it's not like you don't get adventure or journey in the main Shrek series. But this is more catered towards the adventure movies that I like, the action adventure. And man, with that whole Western aesthetic and the score, the train chases that you're getting with Jack and Jill, Puss in Boots trying to get the magic beans from them, that is all really freaking exciting, guys. And no pun intended, because Humpty Dumpty's in this movie, but loads of clever Easter eggs to throw in a little joke here and there. Which, again, is what I feel like is the most charming thing about Shrek. Like, these animators will do anything and everything they can to throw a joke. And 9 times out of 10, those jokes work on me. And I was getting really into the brotherhood aspect here. Antonio Banderas and Zack Galifianakis together, I think, are both really great. They both understand the assignment. Antonio Banderas is obviously very swindling and very charming. Zack Galifianakis is very fast-talking, and he's very sneaky. It took me a second to register that was Zack Galifianakis. Like, a freaking completely unrecognizable performance here. That was freaking phenomenal. And usually, yeah, in these kids' movies, the flashbacks can really grind a movie to a halt. But I was really looking forward to see how Puss in Boots came to be how he is. So even though the flashback sequence might be a little bit too overlong and a little bit too extended, and yeah, if I'm nitpicking, the facts that the storytellers are basically writing in that they think the flashback story is boring, yeah, that can send a bit of a mixed message to the audience, because then the audience might think that the story is boring, if that makes sense. Thankfully, I never thought it was. But this is where I'm gonna get into some spoilers, so if you haven't seen Puss in Boots yet, I can't really talk about my issues with Puss in Boots without digging into the spoiler aspect of it. So you've been fairly warned, just in case. My big issue with this original Puss in Boots is the third act. Because they actually do it. They go down the villain reveal cliche with Humpty Dumpty basically being in cahoots with Jack and Jill the whole time. And I was sitting there like, oh my god, really? Like, we're really doing this? And then I was thinking about it, and thinking back towards the whole brotherhood aspect of Puss and Humpty together, and the twist didn't really make sense. Like, I was trying to piece it all together as it was happening, and I'm like, wait, what? But you know what? I'll give this movie credit where it's due, because I feel like this movie, like, in the middle of going through this twist, they very quickly changed their mind. And then Humpty basically redeems himself. He gets back on the same page with Puss. And then they go through the trope of the fractured brothers coming back together, and then, yeah, you get to your big climax, which I'll admit is a nice little homage to the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. Not as funny as the Ghostbusters climax, but I got what they were going for, and I was having fun with it. But my feeling is, if Puss and Humpty were just going to get back together, why even bother going through this twist? Like, what was Humpty's whole motivation for actually being in cahoots with Jack and Jill? Like, it's never really implied that that was all a part of his plan to get in cahoots with the villains to kind of get them on his good side. I don't know. I guess I was just wishing for a little bit more specificity, and I guess I was just wishing for a little bit more clarity on why this twist was in there. But other than that, this movie was way better than I remembered it. I really don't think I gave this movie that much of a chance when it initially came out. Like, I was of the age where I was really judging a book by its cover. I was young and stupid then. Because I think this movie is a real treat. I think it's a lot of fun. I think people of all ages can enjoy it. It's a very cute movie as well, with all the cats thrown in. And I think it's a really solid spin-off movie, guys. I'm going to give the original Puss in Boots a B. That is a very strong B as well. Let me know what you guys think of this movie down in the comments. What is your favorite Shrek movie of the bunch? Do you prefer this movie over The Last Wish or vice versa? There's a lot of things that we can discuss and then some all down there, guys. And if you've stumbled upon this channel for the first time, welcome. Do consider subscribing, tap on that thumbs up as well, because summer blockbuster season is really going to start heating up within the next week or so, and I can't wait to share all of my thoughts with you guys. I can't wait to hear all of your guys' thoughts on all things in the cinematic world. But with that, that's it. Yeah, that's all the Shrek movies. I'm going to add The Last Wish to this playlist, and I can't wait to show you guys what other retro series I have coming down the pipeline here. There's a couple more that I've yet to announce. You could probably guess one just based off the pattern that I go through on my channel here. But there's another one coming in the pipeline that I think you guys are really going to like. They involve movies that were a big part of my childhood, and they're still a big part of my life to this very day. And that's your hint. Guys, thank you so much again for your continued support. Stay tuned. Y'all are the best. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.